the part that's really sensitive is just like, certainly in my own mind, it's like I'm just like afraid of there's a place where I think maybe that I might have, in my own attempts to survive, I might have hurt some people, you know? And that even just saying this out loud right now, I'm like, I don't even want to look at that. I don't even want to see if that's real, right? Like if I somehow contributed to someone's downfall, and whatever, like you're just a little kid trying to survive, so it's like so not real what I'm saying, right? But that's one of my like things I've been telling myself this whole time is like, fuck, dude, I don't want to know if I fucking contributed to someone's downfall. Like, I don't want to know. And even if I'm doing that, I can like see kids' faces right now, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. It was
well, it's the same thing. Like I was telling you the other day, it's when I talked to my buddy who was there when he was a little kid and was having a tough time, and he said that you gave him a pep talk that changed his life. So in the same way, like, yeah, you might have taken a few people down or whatever. It's like you definitely lifted a few people up in the process too, and showed
that's
him
so
how to
fucking
win.
cool, dude. Yeah, see, I think that is so awesome, right? Like that is a perfectly holistic view of like, yeah, you're right, dude. As much as there, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say that was 30 years ago, but the moment I showed him that podcast, he was like, "Oh, Purin, man!" Like he was like lit up and wanted to talk to you. He's like, "Oh, that guy will always have a place within me, like from what he did." And that was the thing. It was like, we all crave that kind of attention from older people or somebody that was like, I mean, you think about it. When you're a senior, you became this like family member. You didn't have
Yeah,
a strong male role model. Your father wasn't there. You were just there with your homies, and every once in a while, an older kid would be real with you in a cool way or do something, and then you're like, yeah, like you were like whole again. And I don't know if that's the right choice of words, but it definitely meant a lot. I was always, when I was messing with people, taking punga, I was kind of just looking for a certain level of attention, I think.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right. You're pointing out that weird piece that you do get. Like I still struggle today to think like who's our role models now. Like who is a role model for, like back then you have a role model because you can see who's gaming the system and who's got their shit figured out. You're like, yeah, I want to be like him. I want to skate like that person. I want to whatever, right? And then like now now shit, man, I think the world needs role models. There's something about this story, right? This fucking story that you and I are trying to unveil, I think is one of the most like important fucking stories. And 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 it's like not because it's a story about stupid white people in the Himalayas, right? Like that's not there's something so weird about the 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 way that we survived, and then like, oh shit, I don't even know what it is, but I think that's what's intriguing to me to talk to you is
I
like,
mean, I don't know. I think we've been in a lot of pressurized situations too, man. You know, at a young age, I think there's definitely value in that. You know, it might not be the best thing because it's like almost like you experienced too much at a young age that you weren't quite ready to handle. But
not until this moment did I realize, oh shit, I really fucking helped some kids. Like, I really helped him. That German kid was only one of many that I would pull aside and say, like, all right, bro. I remember this one kid, fucking Harry Kirtan. He was so trash, dude. He didn't survive. He didn't make it back. But at one point I pulled him aside and was like, all right, buddy, you're gonna have to punch some people in the face, man. Like, these people they're hurting you, and you can't let this go on, right? You're gonna have to. And he was just like, oh, I can. I showed him this is what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. So like a day later, boom, he pops me in the face, and I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, bro, you were all up in my face, and I was like, fuck, I was, but like I didn't, but I didn't expect, like, I thought you were gonna hit the other people, like.
That's funny, man. That's fucking hilarious.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. So
Isn't that funny? Like, dude, just giving. How did you give yourself permission to punch someone in the face? For real, for real. Like, do you remember when that happened?
I don't know.
Because when I was a little kid, I was really nice. I did not hit people. I was like an unbelievably kind person. And then at some point, I changed.
Yeah, I didn't have that thought process like what you're talking about. It was never like that for me because I was just in it. And there was moments when you were just fucking in it and you weren't thinking about anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a reaction to what was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go through all that. I mean, I don't know. I felt bad about a few things, you know? Like when you'd see a kid going through that, but it was kind of short-lived too, man. It's like,
yeah,
I didn't like dwell on that.
We now bring you Enter the Freud.
This is for entertainment purposes only. It is no way medical advice.
So I had the COVID symptoms pretty bad, and I kind of wigged out thinking that we were going to watch this video because I have never seen the footage of being back there. And I listen to how bad I wigged out. I thought, what if I see this and then I go blind? Like, like what if it's so psychologically fucking strong that I can't see anymore?
Yeah, wow, dude.
That's what I thought that.
It's such a good classic sort of metaphoric correlate of like PTSD. You know, the idea of trauma is that you block stuff out, and then it's like we're gonna show it to you, and then your eyes are you're just gonna be like Oedipus and like pluck out your eyes so that you don't have to see that you fucked your mom.
Yeah. Yes, it's scary, dude. It seems scary. So, all right, let's just jump in. So really what we're going to do here is Satbir has a video of a walkthrough of the first school that I went to in 1984, if my timeline is correct. And so
Yep.
I was too young to go to the all boys school, and this is the girls' school, and they had just 1 or 2 grades for the little kids, like 6 years, 7-year-olds. And I think I was 7 turning 8 when I went there. So
And Sapir, you went back and just like went to the school and took some footage of it. Is that what this is we're about to watch?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I went to all the places I went to as a kid, starting with like Heber Camp in Arizona when I was 6, and then all the different schools, houses, places that we lived at in India, just to kind of do the same thing, just so I could send it to the homies and just have those memories. So this is the school that Pooran went to, but I never actually went there as a student. I came like a couple of years later after we had moved.
Okay.
right, so the worst predicted outcome is I go blind, but anything short of that might be psychologically healthy. There might be like a chance to integrate and then share with you guys, because I feel super cool with you guys, you know, like, and so, yeah, I guess more likely this will be a healthy chance to integrate things from far away.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's all just, like, on the count of 3, hit play, so we're watching at the same time. And then if you want to call up pause, we'll hit pause if you want to say something in the middle. But otherwise, we can, just watch it all and then talk about it.
Awesome. Let's go. Ready?
All right, 1, 2, 3, play.
Can you shoot like really far and you see that white cross there?
I think I hear Guggenpreet.
Yeah. Take a picture of that also.
It is Guggenpreet.
Oh, hey guys.
There's Darshan. You remember him, Dave?
Yeah, I totally
Check it out,
remember.
I guess.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, that was our classroom.
Wow, it looks pretty nice.
That first hallway was the junior classrooms. Oh my God, there's the dining hall, bro. Okay, dude, the song we used to chant in there, like when you started to you would sing Grace.
Yeah.
And we would chant a song. And because I didn't know if it was Hindi or English, and the Indian kids didn't know if it was Hindi or English, and we would sing this. Fa la dia bow to see, oh Lord, make us tweet thankful. And that was what we would sing, and it was
Chant,
actually
yeah.
for what we are about to receive, oh Lord, make us thankful. But we all used to, because no one knew if it was English or Hindi, so we all it was a made up song. What the fuck?
Wow. Man, that's beautiful.
What an interesting reaction.
Is this how it looked, porn? Does it still look the same?
Yes.
Because it's like, we're talking about like 40 years ago.
Yeah, that field that they just showed, that they built that. They used to have worse stairs going down. That's a different construction. But that's
look at that.
That's
nice
the field.
Court.
Yeah, right. That basketball court is new, and then it used to just be gravel.
And is this still being used by 3HO?
No. I think everyone left in the very early 90s.
So it's probably just been taken over by some other school.
That field looks much larger than it used to be. But that can't be. Like, they can't really make it bigger because it's like it's on the Himalayas, like you can't add to it. It just looked.
It's quite nice.
You see that? It was built by British people. Like the Brits built it maybe for their kids to go. That looks new. That was not there. That building. Yes, look at those dorms, dude. There's the bunk beds.
Wow. Man, they packed you guys in like sardines. Nowadays, people complain about dorm rooms when there's like one 10 by 12 room with 2 people in it. They complain that it's too packed in like sardines.
Yeah, man. That it didn't even seem odd.
Well, in some ways, it's kind of probably fun to just be with a big group of people,
Yes.
But if you have no supervision, then it quickly becomes Lord of the Flies. Which
is also just like absurd games. Yeah, there you go. That's looking off the side of the school as it cascades down into the valley.
Yeah.
What is that? Whoa. Well,
You didn't go blind.
No. No. Well, that was something. Man,
You hadn't really seen pictures of it or anything, huh, for a long time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, since I was last there. And
How many years did you go to that school?
Well, I was only at that school for 1 year, and then a mile down the road is Vincent Hill, the boys' school. So then I went to I went to the boys' school for 5 years or something till we left to a different school. We eventually left and went to Dehradun, and that's when Satbir came to that school.
Gotcha.
Man, that was so strange. It's that first classroom up there was the one that I was telling Satbir yesterday, that there was this teacher, and I think her name was Ma'am Lovely, and she used to when we would come into the classroom, she would have a few select boys that she would want to kiss her on the lips. And and like she was just like a 20-year-old lady who had this strange thing. Because in India, this is so weird. They don't even have kissing in movies. And there she was having these little boys. It was just like 2 or 3 of them. When they would come in, she would be like, "You come here," and then they had to kiss her on the lips. And I just remember thinking,
wow, she just had certain ones that she wanted to kiss her.
yes.
Your favorite?
What's that?
Your favorite?
Yeah, if you were the favorite, and I just remember feeling so weird, like, because I don't think I was one of the kids, right? I know my buddy Sangeet was, right? And if he was here, we could ask him what was her name, dude, because I think it was Ma'am Lovely. Dude, how strange is that? And then I wonder, what did he think of it? Like, what did he
Having
think?
to go kiss her all the time?
Yeah, what did he think? Like, was he like, "Oh, yay, I like this," or is he like, "Oh," like when I used to have to kiss my Auntie Jeannie, and she would just come in with this big kiss on your face, like, "Ah!" I don't know, dude. Yeah.
So were the girls' school, first, I feel like I've heard you say that the girls' experience in India wasn't as fucked up as the boys. Is that true?
Absolutely. Or maybe it was in a different way. Because certainly women do not create such a physically demanding hierarchy enforced with violence.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you they could count the amount of fist fights that happened. Like, there might have been 10, right? And then it's like, Satbir and I probably were in 10 a year each.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that, and that would be a really conservative estimate. So it's
and then I feel like I just have sort of heard stories and stuff over the years, and who knows if my memory is accurate. So correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it seems like the boys that were in India at these schools, if you look at them now, there's a lot of dudes who are like serious addicts or serious mental health stuff, or a disproportionately high suicide or crime rate. A, is that accurate? And B, if you compare the boys to the girls, do you see a difference?
Yeah, there's a huge difference. If you just look at how many people were hospitalized in a psychiatric institute, right? Like, who has had a psychiatric hospitalization? Well, it's mostly dudes. I can only think of 1 or 2 women, right? And I'm sure that's not accurate. There's probably 5 or 10 maybe. But the amount of guys that have had to have serious intervention is pretty fucking alarming. And at one point, I looked at the entire alumni list of people who went there, and I highlighted everyone, and it was some crazy fucking percentage. And right now, I'm thinking it's like 20%, but that's impossible. There's no fucking way. That seems too high. Satbir, does that seem too high?
I think so. I think before you were talking like maybe closer to 10% sounds more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, 20. But and then if you look at like substance abuse issues, oh, it's fucking high. But whatever. I mean, that seems to be part of what happens if you live jungly animal style. There's just some interesting side effects, man.
It's interesting. I might just be going off on an irrelevant tangent, but it's at least psychologically interesting. And maybe it is related to this 3HO phenomenon. But they say that evolutionarily, men are more, there's a greater diversity in like how wild and crazy and nutty and extreme men get than women. And they say that works out well because like, it's like the evolutionary DNA spread of men works out well because then the ones that turn out really well, they're the ones that mate. And so they create more of those really good men. And the wacky, really fucked up ones don't mate and they just die off anyways. So evolutionarily, that works out well.
Oh my God. That's so controversial when you talk about it in this setting, right? Because in this setting, it just becomes a very dangerous subject because this is unfortunately child abuse territory, right?
Totally.
Like this falls under the envelope of were all these kids abused or not, right? Mm-hmm. Like the way that but if you looked at that school, the amount of kids in Vincent Hill and Shangri-La they were mostly Indian. And then the second largest group were Thai kids. There were Thai and Malaysian kids. And then the American kids was the smallest group. We were a total minority there. And so all of those other kids were raised that way. And so then are we to say that... And strangely, this was a place for the well-to-do Indian kids. Like their parents were all businessmen and doctors, right? Like, hey, Sabi, remember when we would go around and be like, for some reason they would ask, "What does your father do?" And then everyone would say, "Oh, my father is businessman. My father is like."
He has this many crore rupees, 10,000 lakh rupees. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? They're always talking about how much money their family had.
Yeah. And so, dude, this is like, it's so strange because this is just how India was in the 80s. And so there was a lot of corporal punishment. And then because it was India, they were a little loose with the way that it went down. Like, it wasn't always just like, oh, come over here and then we're going to cane you. It would turn into just like some teacher will punch you in the face. Some will kick you and just like, dude, some of the shit that went down was so insane. Mr. Sony one time came in the class. He had a bit of a drinking problem and he came in the class and he made someone get up on the desk on the teacher's table. And then he took this latte, a big bamboo stick, and he just whacked their legs out from under them, and they fell off onto their head. And I'm like, what kind of punishment is that, dude? Like, what is that? It's just like straight up fucking nonsense abuse. And it's like, whatever. The amount of stories, if you actually compiled them, it's thousands and thousands of idiot events like that. So, and in the girls' school, no. But I think that they were more civilized. But I'm sure if you ask the girls, they feel very tormented in other ways.
Yep.
Right? Just a different kind of torment. But Sapir, what do you think about like once we frame it as like, hey, wait, all of those other kids, they like this was a good life for them. The Thai kids and Indian kids?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, man. I'm in touch with a couple of kids, like Indian kids from GRD, but, it's like kind of just lose track, man. Like, I haven't talked to those guys in a minute. I have no idea how they turned out.
I know, but like here we are, and there's just like a mass of lawsuits right? Where everyone who went to India is being given money to get therapy, and then tons of people are suing for the various psychiatric fallout, right?
Yeah, I'm curious if it's the cultural thing that people get hung up on, like being an American in India versus being an Indian going to an Indian boarding school. You know what I mean? Like that was the big thing that the teachers always said to us, like, "Oh, your parents didn't prepare you for this. Like you don't know how to behave." And it was just a cultural thing, like us asking questions or not being able to understand their heavy accents was a sign of disrespect. And like it was just like, what? Like I don't even know what you're saying. You know what I mean? And they thought that was like.
Did it seem like the white kids were being caned a lot more than the Indian kids?
Well, it depends. There was always a couple of Indians that were severe troublemakers, dude. And I mean, there was a dude in my class who was the class clown, and I'd say that guy definitely, the Indian kid, definitely got it way worse than us. You know?
And then how about just like the Lord of the Flies fighting amongst the kids? Was there white versus Indian differences in that?
Oh yeah, but it was kind of crazy. Like if the Indian kids were like beating up on the Americans, then you'd have to band together, and you'd have like I think I just sent a thing to Purin where they were talking about the dorm fights. You know, you take sides, and you were on this side or that side, and it was usually like an Indian versus American kind of setup. But that wasn't that often. It was almost like you fight amongst yourselves, and every once in a while there was some crossover things going on. But it wasn't. I don't know. It definitely felt like kind of clannish. You know what I mean? Like you had to look out because then if they started like picking on these dudes, they were gonna like. You just kind of had to keep the balance amongst them as well.
Yep.
Yeah, in GNFC, it got. I think the Americans were beaten significantly more. There was like because before dinner there was just this like daily public beating, right? And so they would we'd all line up to go into the dining hall, and then I don't know how this tradition started, but they would just call out your school number, and everyone whose number was called out, you had to come up to the front, and then they would just like cane everybody whose number was called, and your infraction was you were late for something, or you were seen during the day doing something. It didn't fucking matter. Just during the day, if you were somehow fucking around and someone saw you, boom, your number was put on the thing. And then when it comes time before dinner, you get a thrashing. And
Jesus,
it was just how it fucking went, dude. And it turned into such a bizarre ritual that then like when there was too many numbers, they would just line everyone up, and they would have to do some strange legs up, hands down thing. So everyone else would go into dinner, and you were stuck out there for fear that you weren't going to get to eat while you had to do some stupid punishment. And then in the very end, they would let you run in, and you would have like 2 minutes to wolf down some food. But whatever, like that's just a strange thing. That's how they tried to keep order in this school.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Purin.
Yeah, what's up?
How often did you guys have town leave?
Once a month, I think.
Dude, can you explain what that was like? I don't know what it was like in GNFC or Missouri.
Dude, town leave was like one of these crazy things where you would somehow get pocket money, 10 rupees or something, right? And then you would go to town. And I think I somehow had more money. Like, I think my parents gave me money. Like they mailed it to me or something. So I had a little extra money. And then I used to team up with someone else on town leave. But I would always go with another kid, right? And then we would there was a trail over the hill. It was like a mile. You would hike up over this hill, and then you would get to Library Point, which is the first stop in there. And then from there, you would try to go, and the big thing was to just go to a restaurant and eat a fucking real meal. Like, that was the thing. And then you would try to get some, like, shit that you could bring home back to the school. Like some other kind of food. And I just remember one time going with Mustic, dude. It's like, because, you know, when Town Leave was coming, we'd all come up with ideas. Oh, we're going to go to this store and we're going to get that. And we were like making plans, right? And we got such bad fucking dysentery that we had violent stomach cramps. And so we were trying to walk to town, and we were literally both like buckling over and lying on the ground, like moaning and suffering, and then it would pass after a while. Oh, and we'd get back up. Oh fuck. Okay, let's go. And we could walk like another 100 yards, and then boom, it would hit again. It was like so bad, dude. And we just went anyway, just like deliriously ill. It's so fucked up. And dude, I don't know if this is the same time, but Mustic fucking fell down a sewage hole. Like, he was so fucked up, he wasn't looking, and he's walking, and he just suddenly, I was standing next to him, and he just disappeared down into a fucking sewage hole.
Jesus.
Then coated in sewage, man.
Oh, sick,
Really?
man.
Yes.
Oh.
Dude, everybody that went there has a sewage story, dude.
Oh, dude, the like amount of illness that, like, dysentery was just fucking amazing, bro. The first time when you showed me that Shangri-La thing, that field down below, that was the first time I shit my pants on that field. And like, I just remember being so alarmed at like, what the fuck just happened? And I just like cried, and because it was so confusing, like I had no idea what to do. I just cried my way back to the dorm, and when I got there, the matron, because I thought the matron was gonna beat me, right? I thought she was gonna be like, "Oh, dirty boy," and I was so sad and sick, and she just like was kind to me and was like, "Okay, no problem." And then the DD like showered me up, put me in new clothes, and sent me back out. But fuck, that was like a rare moment of kindness, dude. Like that's cool, man. I just thought of a moment of kindness that occurred. I'm gonna put
But
that.
it was at the girls' school when you were just 7 years old, right?
Yeah. I put that one in my pocket right now. I'm gonna hold that one. It's like, yes, there was kindness.
I was gonna ask you for. Somebody mentioned that the bathrooms downstairs in the basement were haunted. Do you have any stories about that?
Yeah. Yes. Well, they certainly were not haunted, but it was just like really scary to go down there in the middle of the night. And also, what was terrible is they used to lock the door so you couldn't go down there. So then there was this like weird cupboard. There was like this area where everyone used to go piss and shit in the dorm, right?
Right.
It's so insane. They locked it so that we couldn't go down. I don't know what that was about, man.
And so then everyone would just shit in some random closet?
In a corner, yeah. It was so bizarre. Or the worst thing is we would pee on someone's bed. Which that part is just fucking weird. I didn't even fight that first year. I was like not a fighting person until the second half of my Vincent Hill year. So for some reason I just wasn't even, it wasn't even in my mind that was an okay thing to do yet. Yeah, it was weird. And in that dorm, like the one that you were looking in and you saw the bunk beds, that's the dorm where Kirpal Maggie came back from Vincent Hill one time and found the like most dominant Indian kid in the dorm. And the Indian kid was like, "Oh, what are you doing here? Oh, you think you're the cool guy?" And then Maggie just was like, whack, clocked him right in the face. And because he had just come from big boy aggression land. And it's just like it's not even the same fucking world. And he just clocked this dude. And the guy was just like, "Oh my God." It was like end of his reign of terror. Yeah, it was so weird. And I don't even know what the fuck Maggie was doing there. Like, I guess they let the junior boys come over to the girls' school for some holiday thing. and then why he would sneak over to the dorm, I don't know what that was about, but yeah, man. What else is going on? What else? Like,
I don't know, man. Does it make sense to transfer over to the bigger school? Do you want to watch some of that?
Yeah, let's do it. So that's Darshan again, right?
are we playing it? 1, 2, 3, go.
I hated every minute of my training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champ. Muhammad Ali.
That's Darshan, right?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
What?
So, Porn, this is the school you went to from like age 8
Oh,
to...
no. Yes, Novel House, dude. That was my house.
They were always in the back, I think. They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
They had
Now
some
they are up.
opportunities, some decent fellows. But mostly they were just a second-class house. Interesting point that Mr. Tawari was saying, and he's not even 100% sure that this is exactly the cause because he wasn't
Yeah. Can you hear this audio?
fully
Yeah.
aware of it at the time. But he said that he was heard that one of the reasons that we had all stopped coming here suddenly and stopped coming to the school was because they had demanded our staff had demanded that we get more food, extra rations, separate from the Indians. Whatever they got, we should get some special thing. And they said we can't give special treatment or do anything like that. But so it was just going to be the same thing, and that was obviously the biggest issue was the food thing. So that was even in GRD. That was the first thing that they were trying to tell us is don't worry.
Darshan's just describing our calorie dilemma.
That kind of broke it all up. That's an interesting thing to know that somehow in the end they really were looking out for us. But I do agree that they can't just make us get more food and give them less. I think it probably all led to the eventuality of giving kids.
I think there was actually a much bigger reason why we got the other school.
Which they do now.
I think it was an actual. I think it was an attempt to
I had a good time
to
at school.
to deal with the abuse. Actually,
They couldn't be going.
I think creating the other school was an attempt to get us out of that, because after the older kids left, it became
I didn't know if I was
like
gonna
after
feel like
Suri, the first group of older Americans left, and then we were all just juniors, and the bigger Indian kids just, it was a reign of terror, dude. It was fucking really bad for like 2 years. And that's when Balraj was the head boy. Like that was the worst fucking year. It was crazy.
That looked like a big statue of Buddha.
Yeah.
You see that?
None of this is jogging any memories. Like, I don't even know what this is. Oh, I know what that is. Yeah. Dude, is
Spoon's on there.
Spoon, his name is on there? Oh, okay. Yeah, there's the poll tag, dude. That was the poll.
The reason that I put I was here on that poll was because my fondest and one of my best memories from this, and what anyone will tell you about the craziest shit
Yep,
that
motherfucker.
everyone would end up doing was while we'd be playing pole tag. And
Yeah.
pole tag organizer was Siri Singh himself, and we'd line up right here, and whoever got to the pole, whoever got caught with and couldn't make it back to the pole, and with the ground, the entire school was available to play and run and jump, and so and you had to get touched. But people would run and jump from here, jump down these walls, get chased over and jump
Look at
all of
that
the stuff,
field.
and push people to go do crazy things. So the pole was one of my favorite
Yeah,
sports, one of the
it's-
favorite
Yeah.
games. Therefore,
It's bigger than
would
I
see it.
thought. I
The
thought it
lower
would be
part
really
was
small.
The junior class block, 4th, 5th, 6th, well, 5th, 6th, 7th grade would be down there.
Oh, there's the dining hall, dude.
The main entry there used to be the
Dave, that's where you would line up and you can get your thrashing before dinner.
if any parcels
Jesus.
or anything.
I think that's a good technique to help you with your metabolic process. They should add this in. Did you notice that like keto and paleo, no one has thought of, oh no, before you eat dinner you get beaten
just sign for
and then that will help you somehow.
If they didn't know, you could say,
Yeah.
of course I'm bitter.
That it's a new type of a diet.
Diet.
A new diet. You're like, oh, okay. Get a
You have something with my name on it.
punish before eating.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Oh,
This was the dining room right here, and this is all different, but setup, catcher, all the bases would go around.
Dude, you're playing
Now I guess
baseball?
they apparently
Is that a thing?
yeah. But we didn't have bats and shit like you.
You
They
didn't
would
have cricket bats?
no like they wouldn't give us anything to play with. Like they had it locked up, but they wouldn't give it to us except like once a month.
different, yet it's all the same.
It's so stupid.
It feels pretty much the same, even with all of its renovations and fittings. The field and the layout. It's one of those things
Well,
you just can't-
all right, that's enough. Let's pause it, you guys.
The biggest problem obviously was the food issue, but
Let's pause it. That shit's disturbing, dude.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like it's hard to tell because I have so much COVID-y other symptoms and it's confusing. It's confusing like the reaction to this video. It's actually not as bad as I thought.
Yep. And I bet part of it is your COVID stuff. When I had COVID, I felt anxious and fucked up about nothing. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's odd. Well, I would really like to see like in the dorms and stuff like that, just to see like what kinds of memories would come out of it, you know? Like when we were panning through that piece of Shangri-La, it just reminded me of like a totally weird story where some teacher gave me a tiny piece of cheese in tinfoil. It was called Amul cheese. And I ate half of it and then I put the tinfoil back on and I stuck it in my blazer pocket. We had these like blue, like Harry Potter style blazers, a wool blazer.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in
Yeah.
the pocket and there was all this lint on it. And when I saw my sister later, she was with these older girls and I went up to her and I was like, here, tweets. And I tried to give her this like scabby piece of cheese with lint on it. and I just remember the horror on her face as she recoiled. And then the other girls were all like, oh. And it was like that in that moment, I just realized, oh shit, we're all starving, but there's something going on with like, you're not allowed to be scroungy. You can't be scabby and miserly. It was like this really deep code around food, right? Like I was really shamed for having this and not just eating it and then like that was
Right.
for some reason like fucked up and I got it right then, right?
Yep.
Like right then I was like, oh, okay. We're all just going to deny that we're starving. That's what we're
Oh
doing.
my God.
Like we all collectively just fucking denied it. And then if you did anything that exhibited that, hey, we're starving, that was fucking not that was like creepy. Like you would
Wow.
you would
It's so interesting that would start that young.
yeah, you would stomp it out of the people. Dude, what is that? It's just like some intense unconscious push it away, right? We're all going to try to deny that this is going on. And so then if you start acting like, and so then we would clown people. Like I remember some kid took paneer and put it under his pillow. And it was just like, oh, like that kid never heard the torment on that one was just endless. He never lived it down.
Wow.
Yeah, man. What a
All right, I got an 11 o'clock appointment, so I'm just gonna duck up. But you guys keep going, all right?
that's a
All
wrap,
right,
man.
brother.
All right,
Sweet.
later.
Nice to see you guys. Catch you later.
Arey Douglas.
Whoa, buddy.
Is that fucking you up?
What? This
Seeing the
conversation?
footage? Yeah, just seeing the school and all that.
It's not that bad, man. It's but I'm just so like off and feeling terrible today. So I can't really tell. I was really nervous to come and look at this with you guys, but yeah. Well, right now I feel fucking horrible, but I don't know if that's COVID or am I wigging out about this video.
Did you ever do the heist? Like when you robbed the kitchen people?
Never.
You never did that?
No. No, I wasn't gangster enough to do it.
Oh man, we do it and run, dude. Grabbed a handful of finger chips, like the days they were making the good stuff, you know. And if they cornered you, if you couldn't get away, you just had to juta the whole thing, man, and then they wouldn't take it back.
I've never.
What about bribe? You never bribed the kitchen guys?
Oh yeah, dude, we used to trade our shoes with them.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what we did. You hook a dude up with a Walkman or something legit. He was like hush hush about it, but
Yeah,
every time, extra scoop of peanut butter, jam,
yeah,
whatever. He's like, I got you. But he knew, man.
yeah, dude. You only had one pair of shoes, and you would give up your Nikes for some calories, bro. That's what a funny world, man. But dude, that's just that like. It's just an exchange, man. You're just trying to figure out what's the exchange. What are you gonna do? Like whoever was the first one to figure that out, that was dope. But so then the servants in the dining hall were chilling with like Nikes. They have a Walkman and shit. You're just like, what? What are they doing? Right? They had the gig.
As I got older and I started doing all these trades with Indians over there, I realized that if I converted my dollars in the States to electronics, I used to go to like the outlet stores and get refurbished like Sonys and shit. So I was paying cheap, but then I'd bring that over and I'd like quadruple my money in exchanges for stuff that I wanted to get.
Oh.
Because you couldn't get those electronics in India during that time.
Yeah, that's right. They had the stupidest trade embargo, man. Like, they couldn't import anything. So they had this huge black market for just Sony Walkman.
Exactly.
Like,
I started bringing over telephones, like CD players, little cameras.
Wow, man. I would love to get to a place where I could see it as it really is, right? Because in my mind, it's just muddled with all this confused stories of, is this the place of abuse, or is this the beautiful place where we grew up? Like, well, obviously both, right? It's both, but I don't know why we're all giving it so much more negative attention. It just doesn't seem healthy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely had a moment when I went back there, and clearly, going to GNC didn't do anything on my meter because I never grew up there.
Yeah.
But when I went to GRD and I stood on the roof and I was just like looking out at the whole quad or whatever you want to call it, it was like profound, man. I was just like, it was so weird that I was back there. Like being in the physical place, and my matron who I ran into, she had become the person who was in charge of the entire school. She was actually the owner's mistress, and he trusted her, and he just moved her up, and they split that into an IT school or something. It was a college actually, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to sleep in your old dorm?"
Whoa.
It's now just a classroom, but she was going to set it up with a bed, and I was like almost taking her up on it. I was like, yeah, like Like I was gonna have the other people there filming with me just drop me off and come get me the next day,
Oh wow.
just so I could like sleep in my own room and try not to bug out.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
Even like hearing your town lead stories versus mine are like insanely different, man. It was like I think we had a lot more money, disposable money,
Oh, okay.
because like I was like 6 or 7 cold drinks, comic books, as much candy, imported candy as I could find. At least 2 or 3 meals. We'd go and rent a hotel and watch movies. A bunch of kids would, we would fill up a bathtub and then you'd like have your time where you could like chill out in a tub, and the older kids were like smoking cigarettes while they're in the tub and shit. Like,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's really different, man. Like, I don't even think there was a bathtub to rent in Missouri. Like, there was no bathtub. Like, that just doesn't even exist, right? In the 80s, that was not a luxury. That there weren't even hotels. Like, in the hotel you would go to, it just still had the faucets coming out of the side with a mugga to yeah, dude. Like, they didn't have proper like I'm thinking of Whispering Windows is one of the names of the hotels. There might have been an actual shower at Roslyn Hotel, but I don't fucking remember. Like, there definitely was not a bathtub though. Like,
yeah, we had the Agenta and then President. Those were like the 2 like hotels that we'd kick it at.
in Darradune?
Yeah, like, and then there was all the restaurants that like people had found, but we kind of stayed in the same area, like Ashley Hall. And we didn't, I mean, some of the older kids were venturing off to other places, but for me, it was always like, the candy store, the comic book store, the little things you were going to bring back. And, some kids would go and play like snooker,
Wow.
things like that.
Bro,
Some of the older kids.
I forgot that there were monkeys at the school. Like,
Dude.
instead of squirrels, there's monkeys chilling right there.
I don't know if I included it in this longer clip, but at some point I for real thought a monkey was going to attack me, and you hear my voice and it's like, I'm like, ah, ah. But I like inside I was afraid, dude. I was like, I do not want to get bit by a fucking monkey, dog. Like, they're dangerous.
Yeah. What? Those weren't langurs. What is that?
That's just a typical bunder, the one with the red butt. The langurs are actually really nice.
Oh.
The langurs are like chill.
We used to have langurs come through in certain seasons. They'd come through. And dude, one time this really bizarre monkey came into my dorm. Like a different species entirely with really long arms.
Yeah, those are the langurs, right?
No.
Different than that?
No. No, the langurs definitely are gray and much longer than the ones in the video. Yeah, blackface. No, this one was like orange, like an orangutan. Yeah, it was so fucking odd. Only one time did I see it. It like came down the wire, right to our dorm, and was like reaching in with its arm, and it was like, what the fuck? And I remember looking at it climb away on the wire, and I was like, that is the strangest thing.
Yeah, we didn't, at GRD, we didn't really have monkeys coming through that often. Every once in a while, like, if I saw one, somebody told me that monkeys are terrified of their reflection with a mirror. So immediately I'd run to get a mirror to, like, show him. And then, like, some other dude would, like, try and throw a bucket of water on him or something. Like, we were always trying to get those dudes, you know what I mean? We were trying to, like, game a monkey, but they're dangerous, man. We'd put out a biscuit or something, trying to get them to come out.
Dude, that just reminded me of the dumbest thing. There's this one monkey, there was a storm in the night, and we woke up, and there was this langur had tripped and got electrocuted on a power line, right? So he was dead on this power line. And for some reason, I thought, I want to harvest his not the pineal gland. I wanted to harvest his adrenal glands. Dude, what? Now just think about this. Think about what I'm saying. I wanted to harvest these glands because in my mind, this is like the dumbest thing. Somehow I thought, ooh, I think there's adrenaline in the in the adrenal glands. And if you eat it, you're then going to have like a supercharge of like amphetamines. This is what I thought. And if I could but I couldn't get the monkey off the line. And eventually they threw it away. But that was like that shit seemed totally normal to me. Like that kind of thinking.
Well, it's funny. I was over at 216. Do you remember 216? Didn't you live there?
No, I didn't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we were over across the street, and it was kind of like a hideout for all the American kids. Like sometimes we'd do events, we'd watch a movie, and it was like our program, our SDFE program, SDI, whatever it's called. And we were over there hanging out, and there was a bunch of people watching movies inside, and then a bunch of the boys had gotten like firecrackers, right? And we were just playing Diwali, like insane, but everybody had patake, and we were just fucking having fun, blowing shit up. Somebody found a fucking bat. One of those huge bats, like a fruit bat or something. Not the little guys that everybody sees, but a massive bat. Somebody found one, same thing. It had touched both the wires and it was electrocuted.
Oh.
So this dude hits it off the line. We took the Lottie and smashed it off the line. The guy comes down to the ground. Another dude takes 2 pieces of rebar, pries his mouth open, sticks the bullet bomb in there, and blew his fucking head off. Oh my God. I was like 10 years old. It was the craziest shit I'd ever seen. I was like, oh shit. I had to like run and just like tell all the other kids that weren't there what I witnessed. And it was like, it was nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what's like that kind of thing just seems so typical of like what boys do, right? I think that's just like a thing that like that story repeats all around the world. If you talk to like, what did young boys do? They give them fireworks and they're gonna blow up some shit, right? Except that the amount of gunpowder that we got access to was much more than in the fireworks that they have in America because there's no regulation, right? I just remember filling an entire vitamin bottle full of gunpowder, like I don't know how much that is, and then duct taping it extensively, tying it up with rope and string, duct tape again. I made it into this like actual coconut bomb, and then I took like whatever was like, it was like cannon fuse, and I stuck it into like 3 places in this thing, and I went because I wanted to see if I could actually like create dynamite, which obviously the canister wasn't strong enough. I would have had to put it in a pipe bomb actually, right? But I knew not to do that because the fragments, the shrapnel was going to be a problem. But we put it in this thing. Actually, this was when we were in Amritsar, and so we went to one of those buildings that was either broken or not finished yet. And I stuck it in the wall there, and I was like, oh, we're going to blow up this wall. And so we went back, I don't know, like 1 house away looking at the thing. And then all the other kids were like way, way, way further back, like several buildings away on the roof looking down. And when it went off, the explosion was so big that me and the other kid who were lighting it, our eyes naturally just closed because the explosion, so we didn't see it. Like as soon as it went off, either the shockwave hit us so the only way to really see it was from several buildings away. They saw it, and it was this like massive explosion. But being so close to it, you didn't get to You couldn't actually see it, man. And now I feel fucking woozy, bro. Wow.